The window just broke!
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
Yep, so driving down the beach, my rear window broke, and that's not the only thing that happened. So my father-in-law's vehicle broke down, and you know, we're on vacation, we're staying at a beach house, all of the roads are sand. So I ended up towing his vehicle down to a local shop because I have no tools, and the car wouldn't start. I don't have a scan tool. I know I'm a bad mechanic, I didn't bring anything with me, but the second time we've been here, and I didn't think I was going to need it, to be honest with you. So as we're towing his vehicle down the beach, it gets really bumpy. We're going over a lot of, you know, sand dunes and stuff. And it's raining and my windshield wiper blades stopped working. So really quick, I'm going to show you guys what I did to diagnose this on the beach and what I ended up finding, which was not what I originally thought it may have been. You know, I just assumed it might have been a blown fuse or a bad windshield wiper motor, but that was not the case. So let's go ahead and dive into it. Okay, so we're going to check and make sure our windshield wipers are not working. Now if you guys see, windshield wipers are not working. They are not coming on. Now originally I went to I called the closest Napa Auto Parts store, and they are 45 minutes away, and they didn't have a wiper motor in stock. It was overnight. They could have it the next day. I had them order one just in case, but that ended up not being the problem. So obviously we didn't put the wiper motor on. But I'm going to show you guys what I did to diagnose this while at the beach with a test light and a basic set of hand tools, and we'll just dive into it. Okay, so we're going to start with checking our fuses. Our wiper fuse is this fuse right here, and it is good. Now that is fuse 24 for the front wiper. It's a 25 amp fuse. There was also another fuse, I can't remember if it was 76 or 54, front washer, so that one also could have, there we go. Alright, so the front washer fuse is good, fuse 54. And then so we have power at our fuse box. Okay, now the problem here is the relays are internal. The relay is internal for the wiper washer system, and I only know this because I worked for GM dealer. I know where the wiper washer relay is. Without service information or Google, I guess, you wouldn't really know that. So I can't test the relay, but what I can do is eliminate the control circuit for this circuit for the wiper relay. Okay, so basically you turn your switch on like so, and it sends a signal to the BCM to energize the relay in this fuse box and send power to the motor. That is how this works. So theoretically, if I turn this on, I should hear clicking in my fuse box. I don't have a scan tool to command the BCM wiper blades on, but I can at least hear the clicking in the fuse box and see that it's working, or hear that it's working. I don't know if you guys can hear it. Let's see. Okay, so now we know that this switch is working. We know that the body control module is grounding the relay in the fuse box, but we're still not getting wiper operation. And why is that? So we're going to start with unplugging this connector. Okay guys, connector unplug. We have two ground wires right here. So we're going to check our grounds. Okay, we got both of our grounds. And then we have 3 power wires for low, medium, and high, I believe. I'm assuming, going off of my many years of experience. I've not looked at any service information on this at all. So I'm just assuming, especially because, you know, we have a thin wire, a thicker wire, and a thickest wire here. So we're just going to check. I've got my wiper set on high. Wipers set on high. So we need to check for power. Grounds are good. We used a test light to test for ground, and we have ground. So let's check for power. Okay, we have power at our fuse, right? So theoretically we should have power on one of these terminals. And we ain't got jack's diddly squat coming out of the fuse box. Okay, so the last thing I did was I wanted to jump power to the wiper motor and see if I can get anything to come on. Alright, so now we're going to do that. And you guys aren't going to like the way I did this, but we're, like I said, we're on the beach. I don't have T-pins. I have a test light, a piece of wire, and a basic set of hand tools that I picked up at a local hardware store. So we're going to get this car diagnosed and fixed the best way I can. Okay, test light is unplugged from any source. And we're just going to jump power to this terminal using a test light as a T-pin, essentially. It's back probed. I know a lot of you are going to yell at me for that, but you know, it's what I got. Trying to figure out why this is not working, okay? Wipers, come on. Okay, so we know the wiper motor is good. We know we have power at the fuse box. We know the relays are coming on, but we don't have power going to the motor when the switch is turned on. Why is that? Well, the problem is, even though the relays are coming on, they are not sending power to the wiper motor. So we have an internal issue in this fuse box, and the fuse box has to be replaced. Luckily, I ordered one overnight from the local Chevy dealer on the beach. Yes, they have a Chevy dealer. It was amazing. Ordered a fuse box. It was about 400 bucks. So we'll go ahead and get the new fuse box put in, and then we will test everything and make sure it works. Okay, so getting this fuse box out is real simple. Disconnect your battery, obviously, and then there's a 13 millimeter here with a battery terminal on it. Okay, and we're gonna pop our terminal off. If you guys can see that, there's a terminal there. And then the fuse box, you kind of have to pull these levers out, pull up, and then out it comes. There's your fuse box in all its glory. Okay, now one thing I didn't show you guys was I didn't test the wiring from the fuse box to the wiper motor. And why did I not do that? I actually did do that. I kind of looked at the wiring, I checked it all. You know, it only goes down to this connector here. But I do not have a connector pin out. So I couldn't load test this circuit on my own, even if I wanted to, because I don't have service information. You know, we're on the beach. But I did kind of pull and tug on the wiring. I pulled the loom off of it a few places, pulled it through the firewall. I did check the wiring. I pulled the backs of these connectors off. They pop out pretty easily. So they just slide out. You know, so I pulled the backs of the connectors off and looked at all the wiring inside of the connectors. I did not see any problems there. And it only goes from here to there. So it's not very long. And what are the odds that, you know, 3 power wires are all kind of broken at the same time? It's possible, but very unlikely. Okay, we have our brand new fuse box straight from the dealership. And we're going to get this baby put in. Nice and easy. Maybe. There we go. All right. And then we're going to get our power terminal put back on there the way it's supposed to be. Oh, come on. Somebody decided it was a good idea to put auxiliary battery on this thing and everything's in the way. But that somebody is me. So, there you go. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and put our 13 millimeter nut back on. And tighten it down. Batteries are disconnected, so if this hits, you know, it doesn't shock and weld itself, you know, together. Now we just got to connect our batteries. So I'm going to connect the batteries and then I will show you guys wiper operation. Here's the big moment. The moment of truth. Turn our wipers on high. And there they go. New fuse box fixed our problem. We did not have power coming out of the fuse box to the wiper motor. So anyways, guys, the next time I go on vacation, I'm bringing my entire freaking toolbox on a trailer. I don't even care. But now that this is fixed, I'll be able to get home driving through the mountains safely, and I'm going to enjoy the last day of my vacation after I get this thing put back together. I'm Mr. Master Tech, and I'll see you guys on the next video I decide to make. Have a good one.